Afternoon, guys. Where to start with my little baby Danarm, or one of them, my little 136. So this girl has been a little bit of a, well, she's been problematical to get her to run correctly. So I'm absolutely a huge Danarm fan, although technically this is not a British saw. You know, we felt, Danarm felt they wanted to put their name on it like so many other people. This was made by Quadra in Canada, and the little 136 has gone through several incarnations and a few subtle design changes. So little 34.5cc, just under in fact, and this one's the Mark III, which there was a crossover between 2 and 3 where some of the later 3s have got electronic ignition. That's what this girl has, and part of the problem with her as well, or one of the problems. So even though she was producing a spark, and the coil seemed to read okay, whenever you put it together, she just wouldn't barely even fire, and then you realise this is a problem with the coil eventually. So she's had a correct Walbro full rebuild, right from the inlet manifold all the way up. Couldn't get brand new gaskets, but I got some really mint used gaskets for her. And ignition switch done, coil done, then completely cleaned to perfection, and then the gap set for the flywheel correctly, fuel pickup done in fueling, and finally this little girl, only the last day or so, is, let me show you how this thing runs. And I thought I had just to wait till I got home when it was roughly light to show her, hopefully a cut on camera. So it was interesting. So even if you're proficient using a multimeter and you roughly know the setting or the resistance setting you're looking for on an old coil, even when it appears to test okay, when it's actually fitted in situ, she was somehow breaking down. So I don't know whether or not when she was clamped up, whether or not that was causing a problem. So I'm going to recheck it, in fact, because I chased my tail with that because it had such a good spark. And so anyway, she's finally done. Oiling, she's been rebuilt from the spring up on the pull start housing, absolutely undamaged, all the correct threaded fasteners all the way around. One of the new kind of small style plugs, and earlier on I went over her with a file, and I thought, okay, let's save the first cut for camera, because it's always really, really fun when you have a saw which has been just hung on display and then just nothing's been done to her. So let's see how this girl will cut. I've got some stuff from the downed tree, which is, well, so they can run from, well, really anything from a 10-inch, they say, up to a 16-inch. I think, unless you had a really fresh one of these, I think 16 inches over barring these, but this has got a vintage, genuine vintage Oregon 11-inch, and I think 11 or 12-inch bars on these are fantastic. Right, can't wait. Let's see how this girl performs. If she does, she might need adjusting. That is so fantastic to feel her back in operation. So this design from Quadra started life in the early 70s, and then it's difficult to get dates with the closure of so many of the companies at that time. So about what actual age this would be with the electronic ignition on, but a few years later. But strangely, that problem with the ignition on this saw is partially why she stayed in such amazing condition. Fabulous compression for a 34cc engine, and no brakes to any of it. Just absolutely stunning. Let's put a bigger piece of wood on and see how she copes with something slightly larger. And then obviously not this though. Maybe actually. Right, that's good. Okay. We can position it, maybe. Perfect, that'll do. So that's perhaps maybe 6 inches across. Maybe we'll find something slightly bigger. See how she goes on with this. Wow, she cuts absolutely fantastic. Right, so I've got to find something just slightly bigger for her. Gonna have to go to the top of the garden. I'll pause the vid, back in a moment. Hey guys. Right, so I found a piece of oak that is 10.5 inches across. There's 11.5 inch actual width on the bar here, nominal 11 inch. She's got 2 knots running through the middle, so there you go. This old girl's thinking, wow, okay, finally I'm broken down and I'm never going to be used again. And then before you know it, goodness knows how long she's not been in operation. Then some chap in Wales has got her up and running and about to put her through some sizable hardwood. Okay, let's see how she cuts. Bless her, that was probably a little bit unfair on that old girl. So Why, that wood is solid as well, my goodness me. Oh, with 2 knots running through it. So there she is then. That's the beautiful little Danarm 136 then. Back up and running, and so she's one of 4 I have. So she's up for sale, and so if any of you are after a real guys, hope that's enjoyable to see one of the old girls back in operation again. So they do say in the manual as well about pulling this way and that way. So I guess it could be done if the throttle stop tick over was set higher. Absolutely beautiful. That's the little Danarm, alias the Quadra, the 136 with the solid state electronic ignition. Fantastic. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.